Join the nation's top telecommunications leader, Cable Bahamas. Hear from our team as they share why this is the place for your next career move. Discover the future with us.
Hi, I'm Pharrell Pindner, and I am here with Mrs. Charnette Thompson, who is the Vice President of Business Solutions. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thanks.
It's good, it's good. So I want you to tell me a little bit about your career path that led you to Cable Bahamas and then eventually led you to the role that you hold today.
Sure. So after I graduated from the Big Red Machine, I went into hospitality. I did hotel training college. I worked on Paradise Island at one of the smaller boutique resorts. And then I worked in St. Lucia and Antigua for a bit. And then when I came back, I was tired of being on call 24/7 and decided to try something new. So I took my customer service experience from the hotel industry as Bahamas Online was starting up. And I quickly learned internet and technology and what those things mean in terms of a business organizations and what that means to people so that I could start selling business services. So in the morning, I was doing sales, and in the afternoon, I was tech support. So whatever I said in the morning had to work in the afternoon. So later in 2011, Cable Bahamas acquired Indigo and SRG, and that's how I came into the Cable Bahamas family.
Oh, nice. And so you were in the sales department.
Yes.
And then you transitioned into the role that you are now. What was it like? Some people love sales, some people don't. But you were in there for a while. So what was that like? And then how was the transition?
So I generally like working with people, both my colleagues and with customers. So using my customer service skills was easy and organic. Learning the internet and technology was a challenge, but I figured it out. And I have good mentors and good colleagues to thank for that, because as we embrace new technology, we have to learn what it is, how it benefits our customers, how it benefits business, how it benefits consumers, so that we can help them to embrace it and do what's right for their business.
I love it. I love it. So in your role now, currently as Vice President of Business Solutions, what does that role look like? What does it entail?
So I have the privilege of leading about 58 trailblazers. We have a variety of skill sets. So we have, of course, sales teams. We also have technical teams that help to do the installations and support the commercial customers. We also have an operations team that helps to fill the gap of everything in between. From the time a customer signs a contract to the time it's installed, they manage the flow in the process.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work.
It is.
but you enjoy it.
I do.
What is the most satisfying thing about your role as a vice president?
What's most satisfying for me still is helping business customers or organizations to simplify what can be complex issues in terms of embracing technology, whether it's an application that the government is using, like My Gateway, and how to make sure that customers receive messages when they're renewing their driver's license or renewing their passport, etc. Or it's a small business customer that's just starting out their business, a barbershop or beauty salon, and other organizations that just need internet and phone lines at their offices to make sure that their business is successful. Those are the things that drive us to help us to make those companies successful so that we continue to do what we have to do.
I think it's great looking at the overall impact, because when you deal with technology and the systems and the operations, sometimes you can get very methodical and just thinking about those aspects. But if you keep the bigger picture in mind of, like you said, the person that's in their store, the person that's in the government, watching their lives change, or companies change, or companies being able to progress because of what you provide, it draws it back. And that's good if all team members can look at it in that way.
Absolutely.
That there's an overall picture.
Absolutely.
Well, we know it's not always all bells and whistles.
No.
What are some challenges you would say that you've encountered in your role, either as a leader or within the organization?
So I would say the best and the worst of what we do is probably around technology. So we have to constantly evaluate new technologies and figure out what's right for our business and for our customers' businesses, and embrace those, and perhaps find ways to prioritize or deprioritize others that don't make sense for the business or make sense in our community right now. And then the second thing, just right on top of that, is constant learning, constant training, constantly understanding what's happening in the industry in terms of technology, whether you're talking about internet, whether you're talking about a mobile phone, whether you're talking about bulk SMS, whether you're talking about how to make and receive calls in a business, even though you can't work from the office, you have to work remotely. How do you make sure that you're engaging your customers and engaging your staff, even though you might be in different islands or in different areas? How do you make sure that we're using the technologies and embracing the technologies to bring people together?
That's good. What would you say is your fondest memory of working with the team and being part of the team?
So my fondest memory is how the team really comes together in a crisis. We do well, exceptionally well, on a normal day-to-day basis, but the team really comes together and supports each other in a crisis. So, for example, through COVID, through Dorian, we had teammates that were on other islands, and how do we help and how do we support them? We had customers that were trying. So we had a customer in the healthcare industry that needed to make sure that their patients received dialysis treatments, which is a life or death situation. Yeah. And they were using our services in order to do that because mobile services on one of the islands was down. And it's really inspiring to see how people come together in a crisis to make sure that our customers are supported and our teammates are supported.
Wow. Like you said, I think sometimes we think so like it's telecommunications and it's the technology aspect, but it's also life-saving.
Absolutely. So telecommunications supports hotels, supports hospitals, supports schools, supports small, medium businesses, supports government, supports NGOs and charitable organizations. So what we do really impacts companies and businesses and organizations in our community that impact the presence of our country.
And as you were sharing that and saying what you were saying just now, it made me, I'm from Grand Bahama. So I still lived in Grand Bahama during Dorian. And the slogan after Dorian was, thank God for alive, because it kept a lot of people alive.
It did. Yep, agreed.
Alive kept a lot of people alive because it was the only form of communication and so many people needed rescuing.
Yeah.
And it was, I lived in a house and I was one of the persons that had alive and people were communicating with me and the other members were not able to communicate.
We heard so many stories like that.
And so just thinking about how all of the telecommunications kind of comes together. So if there is somebody we know that, you know, it impacts the customers, but when you think of the employer side, someone who may be interested in working, not just with Cable Bahamas, but maybe even in your team, how you guys work with business solutions, what would you say to them about what that experience would be like?
So I would say that in our team, so I lead the business solutions team and we deal with anything that's not residential. So government, small, medium business, hotels, hospitals, banks, insurance companies, businesses great and small. What's great about working with our team is we can see the impact of what we're doing through the impact of those organizations in our community. So everybody needs internet. Nowadays, it's like Wi-Fi, air, and water, not necessarily in that order. And everybody wants to make sure that they stay connected, right? So when we ensure that we're delivering the best services to a business, it means that the business can deliver the best service to their customer. And that's impactful. So I would say to anybody that's considering joining the Cable Bahamas or the business solutions team, I would say we do a lot of good work. And the reward for good work is more work. So just come prepared.
I am here for the honesty.
There you go. There you go.
There's a lot of good work and the reward for good work
is more work.
Is more work.
All the time.
People need Wi-Fi, water, and air.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that's true. And I think people need to have those managed expectations that there's a lot of work that goes on. So for you personally, what does work-life harmony look like? Like, you have a very,
Yes.
big role.
Yes.
So there's a lot to do and there's a lot of work and more work.
Yeah.
So how do you find a way to have work-life harmony?
So I would say on the work side, I have a great team. I love the team that I work with and the work that we do. And I'm happy to help them to improve and develop and share experiences with them that will help them and help their career. So I see work as being, how do I help my colleagues to be successful? Mm-hmm. And that actually helps me to be successful, because if my colleagues are learning more, doing more, it frees me up to do other things. And occasionally I like to enjoy a weekend. So on weekends and downtime, there's family activities. My boys are older now, so I have to make time for them as much as they have to make time for me. But my older son has taught me golf, which I'm thrilled about. And my younger son has tried to teach me tennis, not as successfully as we'd like.
I like tennis. No?
Well, yes.
This is a lot of running.
Well, hand-eye coordination. This. Mm-hmm.
That part.
Yes. And other than that, I enjoy travel, especially to the family islands. There's so much to see and do and just experience downtime, as opposed to traveling abroad where there's a lot more to see, do, spend, etc.
All right. So this is my final question. You talked about, wanting to be there for your team so that you could support them, pour into them, and so that they can learn. So if there is a team member who's interested in climbing the ladder, because you have been able to make your way up to a very great position after working your way through the company and even through a company you were with before, what is your advice to them to be able to follow in your footsteps of doing what you need to do in order to climb the ladder to where they would want to be in their career?
I would say learn from every experience. So I started out my career in hospitality, which is as far away as you can get from telecoms and technology. But those customer service experiences helped me to be good at engaging within my teams internally and engaging customers externally. So my challenge then was learning technology and being able to help customers and help colleagues along the journey of how do we make these things work and how do we make these things add value in our community. So I would say definitely, customer service skills are always to your advantage in any area. And then just continue learning. Learn whatever you can, wherever you can, and use that to your advantage.
I love it. Because like you said, you were great at one part and you were like, this part in terms of technology needs to be worked on. And so you learned.
Yes.
And so if they have that openness to learn the areas where I'm weak, then they will be able to do the same.
Yep.
Thank you so much for this conversation. It was great talking to you.
And you too.
All right.